Good evening, friends. The topic of learning today is the Northwest Corner Method, also known as the NWCM under transportation problems. So let's get started. As we've already seen in other videos on the same subject, first and foremost, we need to ensure whether the demand total and the supply totals match or not. So let's quickly have a look at the demand and the supply totals respectively. We already have an arrow on the supply column. So let's get to the total of the supply column. 70, 90, 160 plus 180, 340. So 340 is the total of the supply column. What about the demand? 50, 80, 130 plus 70, 200 plus 140, 340 again. So both the totals come to 340, which means that the demand and supply totals match, which means that this is a balanced problem. As discussed earlier in other videos also, only when we are sure that the sum or that the problem is a balanced problem are we good to proceed ahead. So let's get started. Now what is this method? I'll just brief you about it. NWCM, Northwest Corner Method. As the name suggests, the cell or the location that is to be targeted first is the northwest corner or the northwestmost corner in the given matrix. Now we can see that the matrix consists of 3 rows P1, P2, P3 and 4 columns W1, W2, W3, W4 and a dedicated column for supply and a dedicated row for demand as well. So in the matrix for costs, the northwestmost corner is the cell P1W1. So this is the cell that needs to be identified first for the first transportation allotment. So as you can see on the screen, we've identified this particular cell. Now how many units do we transfer here? We can see that the column has a maximum of 50 units, whereas the row has a maximum of 70 units. So obviously we can transport anything less than 50 because since this cell is common to the row as well as the column, anything less than 50 is definitely workable. But since we have to identify the maximum possible, so 50 would be the maximum possible. Let's say we try or someone suggests that we transport 60. So since we do not have anything more than 50 in the column, 60 is just not possible. Anything more than 50 is just not possible, right? So at most it is 50. So 50 units are transported or identified for transportation in cell P1W1. Now what happens next? Plain logic, the column had a total of 50 units, which can be seen down below, out of which we've already allotted 50. So what should remain behind is nothing but 50 minus 50, which is 0. Now what happens to the row? 70 minus 50, which is 20? Yes. Now, from the problem solving point of view, it would definitely be more comfortable for us to solve the sum if we are clear about what to consider, what not to consider. So as a practice, what next we do is just strike off this particular column, which means since the balance total units is now come down to 0, there is nothing more that can be transported to any of the remaining 2 cells. So these 2 cells become useless from the future transportation point of view. And this cell has already been transported to. So in a way, all these 3 cells are already tackled with, and that completes the column. So we just kind of ignore this particular column so that we don't even consider it even by mistake, right? Now we have a revised matrix, which is this one, which I just showed you using my laser pointer, wherein the northwestmost corner in the revised matrix is cell P1 W2, right? So this is the cell that needs to be identified next for transportation. Now how many units? We have a maximum of 80 units in the column and a maximum of 20 units in the row. So at most we can transport 20 and nothing more than 20. So we put in 20 inside the oval. The 20 in the total of the row comes down to 0 since it has got reduced by 20, and the 80 in the column total comes down by 20 and comes down to 60. Now since the row total has come down to 0, the remaining cells are pointless or useless from the future transportation point of view, and hence to be on the safer side we just strike off that particular row. Now the revised matrix tells us that the northwest corner is cell P2 W2. So this is the cell that we identify. And how many units do we transport here? We have a total of 60 units remaining in the column and a total of 90 units in the row. So a maximum of 60 units is possible, and hence we put in 60 in this particular circle. Now what happens next? Obviously the totals of the row and the column respectively get reduced by 60 units each. So 60 comes down to 0 and 90 comes down to 30. Now the column total has come down to 0, and hence we simply strike off this particular column. Now we are left with a further revised matrix where the northwestmost corner is P2 W3, and hence this is the cell to be identified. We have a maximum of 30 units in the row and 70 units in the column, and hence we are able to identify for transportation a maximum of 30 units. The row total gets reduced by 30, comes down to 0, and the column total comes down to 40 from 70. Now that the row total has come down to 0, we strike off the row. Now we are left with just two cells. Both are in the same line, which means both are equally in the north. And then we have a look at which of these two cells is more in the west. So obviously the one on the left is more on the west, and hence this is the cell that needs to be identified for the next transportation, which is cell P3W3. And how many units? We have a maximum of 40 units in the column and 180 units in the row total. So we transport 40 units to this particular cell, reduce the column total by 40, bring it down to 0, reduce the row total by 40 and bring it down to 140. The next step obviously would be to strike off that particular row or column where the total has come down to 0. In this case it is the column total which has come down to 0, so we strike off column W3, and thus we are now left with one solitary cell, which is cell P3W4, where if you notice, the total in the column as well as in the row both are 140. Now this is no coincidence, it's plain logic. If you remember, we had started with a balanced sum, and at every point, every step, every allotment, we have been reducing the same number of units simultaneously from the respective row as well as the respective column, which means at every point in time the balance units across all columns was matching with the balance units across all rows. So now that we are left with just one cell, obviously the totals in the column as well as the row would surely show the same figure, which is 140 in this particular case. So we identify this is the cell that needs to be transported next, and 140 units is the transportation. Both these totals get reduced by 140, bring them down to 0 and strike off the column as well as the row. Now this completes our transportation identification under the NWCM method. Now what next? The next step is to identify the total cost incurred according to this particular method. So as we've learned in other videos on different methods, a similar approach where we take a snapshot of this particular slide, use it to fill in a table and arrive at the total cost. So this is the NWCM cost table, where this is the snapshot of the previous slide. If you notice, these are the allotments, and this is the table that we have just prepared, where the headings are source, destination, number of units to be transported, and the cost. Now, which was the first cell that was identified for transportation? Obviously, it was P1W1, which is shown here by this red arrow. So we write in P1 in the table under source. What was the destination? Obviously W1. How many units? 50. And what was the total cost for this particular cell? 50 into 190. 190 was the cost per unit, and we have transported 50. So the total cost incurred for goods to be transported to this particular cell would be 50 into 190, which is 9,500. Now, which was the second cell? The arrow tells us that cell P1W2 was the next cell. So we write it in the table accordingly. 20 units at 300 apiece, so 6,000. Which was the next one? The arrow tells us it was P2W2. So we write it in the table. P2W2, 60 units at 300 apiece, so 18,000 is the total. The next was P2W3, which is 30 units at 400 apiece, 12,000 is the total. Next was P3W3, which is 40 units at 400 apiece, so 16,000. And the last was P3W4, which is 140 units at 200 apiece, which is 28,000. And then we pull down the total, and the total comes to 89,500. Now, if you've noticed, you can go and visit the earlier slides as well, earlier videos as well. The sum has been the same. It's just the method which is different, and just with a different approach in the method, we are getting a different total cost. Now, isn't this interesting, right? Good. Now, this is all about NWCM. And once we are done with all the methods, we'll then have a comparison between these methods as well and try to identify as to which is the best method suited for any company, right? So this is it in this particular video. Thank you.